Hey YouTube, and welcome back to the Sneaky V YouTube channel. Last time you guys saw me, I was measuring for my push rods for this engine, and I was also explaining to you guys why I wasn't taking it all back apart to show you guys how I put the oil pan, oil pickup tube, and heads on. Well, I ended up taking it back apart anyway, and that's because I need to go back through and put my ARP studs in for the main caps. So I had to take all of that back off. So I ended up taking the heads off again too because there was something that I needed to do with the heads. So now that I've gotten all that back off, I can actually go through and show you guys how all of this stuff actually goes on. So without further ado, I'm going to be putting the windage tray here on. This is the windage tray. It scrapes the oil, or it catches the oil off of the crankshaft here so that it doesn't so that the main portion of the oil doesn't make contact with the crankshaft and whip up into like a foam. It turns into a foam and it gets whipped up by the crankshaft. So this goes on like this. It's marked rear right here, if you guys can see that. So that part goes towards the back. And it goes on with these 10 little nuts here. These are 9/16 nuts, and they just screw right onto the studs. These came with the ARP studs. They're not the same size as the stock nuts that will go on here. The ARP ones came with their own studs, so I got them right here. And let's get these on. Finger tight for now. This stud right here, I'm gonna skip for a minute because that nut that goes right there actually helps hold on the oil pickup tube. So let's get these on and torque down. And according to ARP specifications, these torque down to, let's see, 28 foot-pounds. The stock ones only torque down to 16 foot-pounds or 18 foot-pounds, something like that. So I'm gonna get these on and torque down and get my oil pickup tube on, and we'll be moving right along. Get my wrench set up here. This is a 9/16 nut, so I'm going to need a 9/16 socket. And let's set this to 28 foot-pounds. It's 28. Now I'm going to go ahead and torque these down because I need these to be already torqued down when I go to put the oil pickup tube on, because the oil pickup tube blocks a few of them. So once I put that oil pickup tube on, I won't be able to get to some of them to actually torque them down. So I'm going to go ahead and do it now. And since I'm doing the ones that are going to be blocked, I might as well do all of them except for that one. And once I have the windage tray and the oil pickup tube on, then I can put my oil pan back on. I also got some fresh ARP bolts to hold the oil pan on. So this thing is basically ARP bolts bolts and studs from the heads to the oil pan. I have ARP head studs, ARP connecting rod bolts, ARP main cap bolts, and ARP oil pan bolts to hold the oil pan on. So this thing is ARP'd up. And get that to 28. There's no specific pattern to do these in. You can just kind of go all over the place with this if you want. As long as they all get to 28. As for the main cap bolts or main cap studs, there's nothing different about the main cap, the stock ones and the ARP ones, except for the torque rating. You have to torque them down a little bit more than you do for the stock ones, but the whole sequence is the same. Uh, you go from inside to outside and go from the center out. So I didn't bother recording that again since I've already done it before. Whoops. Alright, I gotta get my wrench reset here because I accidentally pressed the button. So 18 foot-pounds, 28 foot-pounds. 28 on that one. And now I got the first 9 of those torqued down. I'm gonna go ahead and stick my oil pickup tube on here. This is the oil pickup tube. It is also not a stock oil pickup tube because my oil pan is not a stock oil pan. It's a little bit shallower than the stock oil pan, and a stock pickup tube would hit the bottom before the oil pan ever made contact with the block. So I had to get a fresh one, and this one doesn't quite fit over that bolt there, so I'm gonna have to drill that out. That hole is a little too small, but it's gonna fit. So I'll get back with y'all once I get this hole widened up a little bit and we can finish up this process. Alright, so I took my oil pickup tube and I opened up the hole a little bit. I didn't have any drill bits, so I took my little rotary tool and opened it up. Now it should fit over the stud here just fine. Just like that. And then put my nut on here. Oops. And I'll get that tightened down in a little bit. But first, I'm going to attach my oil pickup tube to the oil pump, because once I tighten that nut down, it's going to torque the whole thing over and make it a lot harder to get these bolts here in. So, actually it's hard now, so let me take this back off. I'm gonna pop that in first. It comes with a little O-ring. All of them do. The factory ones do. These do. All of them come with the O-ring to create a seal there. So you just pop that in like that. It makes a little popping noise. And unlike the factory one, this one is secured with 2 of these little bolts. These are the only 2 little bolts of this size that I have. I don't think there are any like it anywhere else on the engine, now that I think about it. But I'm gonna get these 2 little guys torqued down. These guys torqued down to 18 foot-pounds of torque, just like the stock version of these. So get those in, and then I can torque down my last big one here. $18 foot-pounds, and it takes this little what size is this, 10 millimeter. For some reason, 18 foot-pounds seems like a little bit much for these, so I'm going to double check that before I strip something out here. Alright, I was right. These guys get 106 inch-pounds of torque, not 18 foot-pounds. 18 foot-pounds may be way too much. So let me set this to inch-pounds. Alright, my torque wrench is set up to 106 inch-pounds. I'm going to loosen that one back up because I don't know how far I tightened it. And torque it back down to 106 inch-pounds. And just like that, geez, that was way off. 18 foot-pounds is way too much. Do not do that. Good thing I didn't go all the way. $106 foot-pounds. And I'm gonna switch back over to my other one so I can torque down my my other all pickup tube one here. I just gotta get back on there now. Let's try this. Let's loosen these guys back up a little bit. Because both of these things puts torque on the other end of it and makes it that much harder to get on. So loosen these guys a little bit. Get this guy on. Oops, I want to lose that down in there. And this is becoming a pain in the butt. But sometimes it's like that. Get this guy tucked in a few threads. It's gonna ignore the beeping for now since it's not on correct setting. Get these guys torqued down the rest of the way. Oops, wrench turned off. Alright, 106 inch-pounds. 106 inch-pounds. And 28 foot-pounds for this one. Alright, so when this tray, oil pickup tube on, next thing I need to do is get my oil pan on. So my oil pan is sitting around here somewhere. I'm just gonna set that aside. This is my oil pan. It's a steel 7-quart oil pan from Summit Racing. It is 6 inches deep, perfect for this oil pickup tube here. I got my gasket here, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get this on. Got my ARP bolts over there on the table that you guys are sitting on there. So, gasket, oil pan, something to wipe my hands with because the oil pan has a little bit of oil in it. And where did my ARP bolts go? Oh, there they are. So let's get these guys out of their packaging. So just to make it easier on myself to get this gasket lined up with the hose and the oil pan lined up along with it, I'm just going to go ahead and put the gasket on the oil pan with the bolts, and then use the bolts to line it all up with the hose and the block with the 4 corners. So let's get these washers on there. Set these aside. One bolt. One gasket. Another bolt. A third one. Actually, let's get my gasket flipped over here. I turned the oil pan over, but I didn't turn the gasket over when I took it off. So this needs to flip, and it goes that way. And it all just sits on top of it like this. I don't know why I put 2 bolts on that side and 1 here and only 1 on this side, but it'll work. So let's get these guys tightened down. Now in reality, you don't really need ARP fasteners for your oil pan. Your oil pan's not under a whole lot of stress, but they cost 30 something bucks, so I bought them. They weren't that much, and it's just nice to have some things. And these last 2 go here, I think. Actually, I'm not sure about those last two there, but there are two more bolts that go in the back here and two more that go in the front, and I think these two go in the front. But before I put the front two bolts in, I have to put my front cover back on. And before I put my front cover back on, because this is going to be the final seal up of it all, I'm going to need to go to the store and get some RTV or some gasket maker and put it there so that when I put my my front cover on, it creates a seal so that oil is not coming out between that crack and between the oil pump and the front cover. So for right now, I'm going to end this video and say thank you for watching. Make sure you send your friends my way, hit that like and subscribe button, and have a good one.